Hey everybody, we're here for a new episode of the RLG cast. I'm here with JD and Putty, the Putty man and the JD man. We're eating donuts and Putty for dinner tonight. Shout out to Beer Fest, Comic Con, or
You're
whatever.
eating me?
Uh, just shut up, okay? We're doing this live, guys.
We're
Welcome to
live.
the live taping of Putty Does America. Anyways, today we're gonna talk about some stuff, and we're
Some
gonna
good
try to get
things.
a sponsorship from
The
Beer
Rock.
Beer City Comic Con.
Comic Con.
Um,
Oh, what oh, we bringing up The Rock already? Let's do this.
Go. You could tell them how you're wrong, but you think you're right.
Yeah,
So,
that's
so,
totally wrong.
so there's a interview that The Rock did where he said that him, Vince, and Roman Reigns were in talks to actually do a match together, but unfortunately, something came up. I don't remember what it was with The Rock to
The
where
fact that Vince McMahon has nothing to do with creative, now he's CEO of TKO Enterprises.
either way, my point is, as we had a moment where they were going to do the whole story with The Rock taking down Roman Reigns as the head of the table. I had called that. Now I'm
I am
saying
the
I know it
table.
didn't happen, but at least it feels good to know that it was at least in the plans and it was the idea.
I can call a lot of things. I'm gonna date Trish Stratus. Okay, but if I don't,
But you're not in a
I
meeting
met
with
her,
her. You're
so
not,
there was a chance.
but there was no meeting. You were sitting there going like, would you like
I
to
was
go out with
with
me?
her in a
No.
kitchen.
But did you ask her out?
Well, I was like 12, so I hope
It
not.
doesn't matter. It
I
doesn't
spent the
matter.
afternoon with Scott D'Amore. Does that make me Impact's new booker?
I mean, it could.
But if you did you ask, hey, can I book for you? The point is the match was talked about. It wasn't like they went in the room and said, hey, we'll
I
have your
know,
day
but this
then.
is the thing. That's like for me for no reason at all, just trying to say something for me
And
to
then, and
because
then
you
again,
want
The
me
Rock
to
also talks a
acknowledge
lot of
you,
shit.
but you're wrong.
The Rock does talk a lot of shit. Remember how he said he was going to make Black Adam the.
Yeah, we know that now. Black Adam proved that The Rock is full of shit. Anyways, he's still a nice guy. I digress. I swear he made out with John Cena at one point.
I think on Friday on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
Anyways,
guess. Austin, there was too. Austin Theory was there, acting like
Austin Theory
Stone
was
Cold
there,
Steve
yes.
Austin.
yes, apparently The Rock is there to put over Austin Theory, by the way.
Even though he made him look like shit. But tune into This Much State of Wrestling podcast to find out more.
Yeah, anyways, guys, I'm coving up real hard here, so let's get this party started.
It doesn't matter. Oh my God, sorry.
That was terrible. Go on, Campo.
Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
absolute shit show.
Yes, it's a disaster.
Um, between the strike and like everything else going on, and like the quality of the product that's coming out, I'm like really, really, really worried moving forward. Is there anything that you guys think that they can do that has nothing to do with Deadpool? I want to be very specific with that, only because I know that's where Putty will go with this conversation
No,
somehow.
actually, well, actually, I'm gonna jump.
No, I'm not done asking the question.
It's not Deadpool. It's not Deadpool.
Is there anything that you think? How do you have an answer to the question I didn't ask?
I know it's about that actually.
What can they do to fix this?
See, that's the thing when it comes in. It's not even the Deadpool things. I know already they're going to treat that with kindness because it's like one of their big projects. My thing is this: the problem with Disney is because they're losing a lot of money with Disney Plus. When you have all these other options that have way more opening up to things, for them to take things away, change things, I get Willow was bad, but not giving me the opportunity to watch it, even though it is probably really horrible, is like they're making bad decisions in my eyes. And the thing is they have all these properties that are rated R and everything that they don't want to go out and try to promote that they have this stuff there because they want to be this kid-friendly company. That's not the world anymore. What happened was when Disney was big back in the day, the only thing people that went and saw animated movies was kids. You know what I mean? Kids with families. Now there's same kids are now adults and want to go do the same thing, but they want something that appeals to them. You keep churning out stuff just because it's made for kids and family. You're not getting other targets like ourselves. Like Marvel, DC, I mean Marvel, Star Wars, yes, that has that, but you're so sticking to the kid friendly thing that it just actually I feel in a lot of ways is damning your image. So I feel like they need to put out good
Boy,
things,
we're all
movies,
screwed.
do movies and everything like that are good, but also not. I mean, don't be like this. Well, we got to be kid friendly. We got to be Nintendo because I'm sorry. At least Nintendo lets Mortal Kombat be on their console. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing I feel is wrong with Disney.
Okay, well, for that, first of all, I would like to say I think that's arguably the best thing Putty's ever said on this show, and this is like the 20th episode. Um,
I
Number
think too, they need
that's
to,
WWE to like a
yeah,
T. What you just
they
said.
need to, they need to take a step back. And I'll reiterate this myself too, is they got to focus on quality instead of quantity at this point. At one point, they were churning out, like at the peak, they were churning out 5, 6 properties a year. And when you churn out that much, you're going to lose something in the process, whether it's like good writing, whether it's good, you know what I mean, acting. You're running yourself thin. You're trying to bring too many things in, and you're trying to cast too much too soon, and it's stuff suffers. You know what I mean? The story suffers. The VFX suffer, like because they don't want to spend the money on the budget because, well, we can't divulge all the funds into this project because we got 6 other projects we got to take care of. You know what I mean? So like I know Disney's loaded, but it suffers. Like the when Secret Invasion, like the VFX were not very good in that. With the exception of the Skrulls, it suffered.
Well, even going aside from that, for example,
Even
let's just say,
Ant-Man, the CGI was horrible.
well, let's even if I was even look past that whole situation, they've been talking about how Disney Plus as a general has been saturating money, and that's because I've had Disney Plus since the beginning. But I've noticed I only watch Disney Plus for the new series that are based on Marvel, Star Wars. I don't even go for their movies because everything is such pushing a one thing like, oh, we have to show our brands. We have to show our brands. I'm like, you literally own Fox. Do you know how many big studio things you have that you could use as big promotional tools that you have over there as Fox to make new movies, new characters? But you're not giving that love that needs to be deserved in that situation and using that as your Disney Plus platform. Take
Instead,
out
they
the
shelved one of the biggest Fox franchises they have in Aliens.
Which,
you see what
but
I'm
listen,
saying?
that's what they're gonna do. That's my worry. You're gonna take the things you have like Aliens and Predator, and you're just gonna keep making more of them, and they're gonna suck. And they don't need to.
Mind you,
Well, no,
Prey was not bad.
No, it wasn't, but it's completely like different than what we've been getting.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many times Disney's gonna let you do different. Sorry, go, Putty.
Yeah.
well, I mean, no, it's exactly that. And see, with the combination of the bad storytelling, bad effects, and then the one platform you're trying to sell those things projects on, secret invasion, everything. No one's. I mean, for example, me, I used to get up early in the morning. The only thing I like the way Ahsoka started, but like I've now had to change my way because of those a bit of secret invasion because I just didn't have any appeal to want to put any work to it. When you push away the fans that are actually willing to get up early to watch it and do these reviews because you just don't feel it it's entertaining, you're losing it also free promotion. Taking that time to put in the work for these shows, these movies, things of that nature, and letting us get hyped about it is way more better. It's such a we as a society are the best promotion tool they have, and they don't realize that because again, you got to think George Lucas himself, even though we hated a lot of those prequels and we were judging all the movies he made, at least he was really letting shows like that 70s show make jokes about Star Wars. It's because when you let the fans embrace it and build what they want to out of it, it's still going to make that brand a very
Oh, he
special
let
oddity.
Family Guys use the term Blue Harvest.
Exactly. And see, the thing is, now I feel like Disney's like in this thing like, oh, nope. No, you can't do nothing. It's just what we get to make. And when you do that, you're stopping the fan base that made was so
Which
huge,
is
but that's only part of it.
I find that to be highly hypocritical of them because they specifically took the low road when they made the Chip and Dale movie and they did everything out of copyright infringement. They made sure they every single reference in that movie is unpaid for or unasked for. They did it all because they found every loophole to talk about every other company and not have to pay for it, which in my mind is fucking sickening.
Like how they used Ugly Sonic in that movie.
Right?
But I hate to say,
But
I still love that movie.
I like
I'm
the
just saying
movie, but it's not the
that's
point.
because of
It's
Lonely
it's the
Island.
thought behind it.
Yeah.
It's not the people who made it. It's not the movie being bad. It's that Disney purposely made them do this way. Imagine you're using like I don't know, Batman, and you didn't go ask, but you know who else did it? Warner Brothers did it because
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage is apparently furious about the
His
Superman
image.
thing
Yeah.
because they didn't ask him. Once they put you in a movie, they own you. they can do whatever they want with your image in that movie as long as the studio has the rights for it.
And that's where AI is about to make things even more chaotic. I mean, that's a reference point to somewhere else, but it's like, I mean, it's such a weird world we're in right now, because the whole AI situation is becoming very controversial, because you can literally make everything on AI now. So because you can do that, it's easier just to say, well, we don't need people. But the problem is that's where I feel. See, the problem is that's where we're having a problem. Is everyone wants to be the next Fast and the Furious and just make some money when it's not an actual good movie at times. You know what I mean? It's one of those situations where it's like, just because the AI can make a movie, and the drones of society, the people that are just like, I'm just going for a movie for a fun weekend or anything like that, aren't there to see a movie because it's good. They're out to see a movie just because it has special effects or explosion. And yes, that may be making you some money, but then what's going to happen is there's going to be oversaturation, just like there's happening right now. Those same people that were going through movies aren't going to do it no more. And now what you've happened is you've pushed away both the people that are hardcore fans that want really good storytelling, and then the people that are like, we just came here for a movie. We're bored of this now. You know what I mean? Now you've lost most of your crowd. At least if you're appealing to the crowd of the people that are fans that really want good storytelling, then they will be the ones to tell those other people, you need to go see this movie. You need to go see this movie. And that's where they're thinking more of those bigger, desensitized, dumb drone crowds that don't know the storyline of a movie, that are just willing to see there for big box office movie. And they're now pushing away the true lovers of these movies. And they need to sit back and realize that. And I don't think they're ever going to, honestly. They're big companies.
Thing too, I've noticed, like with like Disney's, all their original like animated films in the last what 2 years have all tanked.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've all tanked.
It's because I told you that, again, it's targeted towards kids back when we were younger. Those kids are now grown up. They want to take their kids to the movies, but at the same time, they're like, why when I could go home? You need to make something that's going to appeal, because you got to think, now we also have a streaming media. They're like, I'll just wait. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to drag my kids to the movies, things that nature. I'm just going to wait. So if you,
and let's be honest, like, sure, nobody was good kids. There's like, I don't even know if there's such thing as good kids. But 2023 kids are definitely not kids you want to take to a movie theater. They have iPads and they're running around, and their parents are just drinking coffee and they don't give a shit what the hell's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought we had short attention spans. They're even worse.
Like, I don't know if it's as bad everywhere, because I only go to VIP screenings now. So I don't, and that sounds really bad. It's not like what it means. It's not actually like VIP. But I can't imagine what it's like to be in a regular theater. Like, my friends went to watch Ninja Turtles, and they went early on a Sunday afternoon or something, or a Friday. And it was full of kids, and they're like, the movie was great. The experience was terrible. They're like, because they're not going to show a PG movie in VIP.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. So it's like, it's really, I don't know. Like, I know, Putty, you go to a lot of like general audience movies, but you go a little bit later at night. So,
but we still get a lot of people there with that situation. But again, it's on Thursday, so it's like, school night kind of situation. But like, summer's a prime example. When I was going during the summer, I saw a lot of that. But I will say they're not as bad here. I think, like, I will say there were laugh out moments. Like, for example, Blue Beetle is a prime example. When I saw Blue Beetle, there were a lot of people that were actually laughing out loud. But that was okay until to the moment. Like, I've noticed whenever there are kids there, they make noise, but the parents in my area are at least a lot better about saying, shh, quiet, don't talk during the movie. You know what I mean? So I'm guessing it's just a matter of where you're at, because again,
I think it's worse in a big city like us, right?
I mean,
because like it's like I don't just notice it. Like I love how this has become a social commentary episode now, but like
it's worth it.
But I notice it not just like in the movie theaters now. Like, kids are absolutely destructive whenever they go somewhere. Like, not physically destructive, but socially destructive. Well, like, it's like the parents don't care. Like, they can let little Madison and Hunter do whatever they want.
Good names, good 2023 name drops.
But see, I'm going to also say this. It's a weird teetering that we've gone on. Before, it was like we didn't have enough media. I mean, we had enough media for us to be happy. But for example, like, we bought a video game, we were stuck.
That's going to have to entertain you. That's it.
Yeah,
exactly. This is all you're getting.
Exactly. So then what happened was now they have too much, and I'm like, why are you bored? And I think it's because the reason they're bored and they get so destructive is because there's too much that's
There's too
overwhelming.
much to consume.
It's
There's too much to
Yeah,
consume.
it's
yeah.
oversaturation.
Mm-hmm.
And like I get it because we're literally sitting here making videos and entertaining people with these things. And so I can't really complain about
No, it
that whole
makes
scenario.
sense. And when
But
Putty's at the theater, the guy's like, "Sit down, little Stacy, before I call my sister wife to come over here."
My
no, that's
sister
that's
wife.
that's a horrible stereotype. We don't want like that. I mean, we don't like that.
Yeah, he did. Good joke, Putty. Nice. But yeah, I forgot what else I was gonna say, but I think the theater experience is not quite like it used to be. Um, they have some really nice theaters in India. I'll send you. I'll send some to you. It's a
But
pretty crazy. They're like all marble
but
walls and shit.
but I mean, kind of roundabout and everything. It's just I know even with myself, especially like I'm older, and my life is changing. It's that's the reason why things are so different for me right now. But it's like I'm gonna go see Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm excited, but at the same time, now that I'm going to go see this movie, it's one of those things where like I'm making it like a chore, so I try to make it special when I go to see it. It's just about going to the movies and getting dinner. It's like it's not about the movie anymore because I am going to go review it, and that's why I do it. But if I was not reviewing, it would be just for the experience. So unless you're really excited about it, there's no reason to go out when you can just stay home and enjoy it there and be able to have a much different experience. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
That's exactly what we did here. Is like
we always do that. Well, we
like
found the loophole. We go out to eat at the restaurant next door before we go in the theater now
mhm.
because it saves me a lot of money, and then I can always eat a chili cheese dog that falls all over me.
Yes. Yes. Shout out to those Thai cauliflower
And
bites.
shout out to the guy who knew what Bullet Club was in the bookstore.
Yes. Gave me a
Um,
too sweet.
anyways, but yeah, that was my last, like, I would say since like 20 since Aquaman came out. When was that? 2018,
Yeah,
2017.
something like that.
Mm.
I've never been in a regular theater, not
Yeah.
once.
Like every
And
time we've gone, it's always been to the VIP
yeah,
at
but
Young and Egg.
Putty's theaters are all like that anyways. In
Yeah.
Florida, every single theater is a VIP theater now. Basically, to us, that's what it would be.
Yeah.
But
Oh, so
um,
your VIP theaters are like reclinable chairs and like the tables
yeah,
and all
and
that?
they serve you inside the thing, and
Yeah,
And it's 19
you have
plus.
to be older than 19 to get in.
that's the only thing is the 19 plus, not the thing that's here. But
Yeah,
yeah, you
right.
get
And
beer, meals, everything, yeah, delivered to you and everything.
yeah, so but I would
Three
always eat
tacos
there.
is $27.
I would always eat there.
Yeah.
Always. But like lately, if I have time, I'd rather eat outside and then go there. But like you're right, Putty, it's always becomes an
But now
event
is it
now.
worth it because they closed down that Toys R Us?
It's not worth it.
Well, see, that's another funny thing too, is like going back to all the simplicities we had of like, for example, going to the video store and rent a video game or a movie, and then even simple things like carrying your Game Boy so you have entertainment on the road or something like that. I'm even thinking about like any trips I'm planning like for February and all that kind of stuff. And it makes me think of like how I sat there and thought, oh, well, I go on this flight, what's going to happen? And I was, oh, yeah, I got my phone. I'm gonna have plenty of entertainment. It ain't going to be like it was before. But that's also making me feel like we're also going to miss out on other things that normal society would do, talking to each other, trying to find ways to entertain yourself with something that's obscure that makes you invent fun ways to do stuff. And that's what's
If you
happening when it
talk
comes to
to random
entertainment.
people on a plane,
You think you're crazy.
then you need help on your own. If I was
Well,
sitting on a plane and some dude came and sat next to me and started talking to me, I'd be like, "Shut the fuck up!
well, no,
I
but
don't
I'm
know
talking
you.
like
Just play your big Game Boy and shut up."
That's my purse. I don't know you.
That's what I would do. That's my
but
purse. Nice Bobby Hill reference.
but but basically, again, I'm just running down to everything, and that also goes back to our entertainment. It's just such a changed field that I don't know how we don't know. All three of us do not know what it's like to actually be born with the internet, and that has to be mentally, psychologically very different in life when you think Google always existed. You know what I mean? Like it racks my
Wait, hold
brain to
on.
think.
Did you say we did it? We always had the internet, or we
No,
didn't?
we were born without the internet. We've had
Oh
to learn
yeah.
to adapt to the internet.
I didn't even have like a legit my own. Well, okay, I kind of did for a bit, but my own cell phone until I was like 19. I never had a cell phone. I used to just borrow my mom's or my sister's when I would go out to the movies. I would take their phone with me in case I needed a phone.
My first cell phone was one of those big bulky ones. I got it from a
I had a
company,
brick, but
and
it was pay as you go. I don't know if you guys know what pay as you
that's
go
what I
is.
had. That's what mine was. Yep.
A
But
burner.
we barely ever used it. Like it was pointless for us to have it. I just played Snake on it, and that was the only reason
Exactly.
to have
Nice.
I was excited just to have Snake on there. I was like, oh my God, I got Snake. I just played that for hours.
My
with the
parents had
freaking
car
numbers.
phones. Or sorry, my dad had a car phone. My mom can't drive. But it was like literally a briefcase with a phone in it that plugged into the
cigarette lighter.
to the cigarette lighter.
Well, I mean, then another thing, and I see a lot of these videos on TikTok too about people talking about how for
Hey, cars
Gen
don't have
X,
cigarette lighters anymore.
well,
Sorry,
like
okay, no, funny.
Gen X was talking. They were talking about Gen X, like, oh, we would sit in the back of a station wagon and would be tossed around the vehicle. There's so many things like they talk about how we mistreat our children now. I'm like, do you not realize that we were driving without seatbelts? There was no helmets when we were riding bikes, and literally the parents would be like, go play outside. We'll see you.
There was no
at
helmets when you
9
ride
o'clock.
bikes, but if there were helmets in school, if you needed one.
The kid in the helmet. Yes, is he marvelous?
I was around when they had paddles and they would paddle you in school. Like
I've gotten the strap.
Yep, I had to sit on the paddle. I didn't get the paddle, but I had to sit on it. It was like you misbehave and that you're taking and you would hear the kid outside like, okay, you're getting it.
Buddy was like, that's a paddling.
That's a paddling. Staring at my sandals. That's paddling.
But I think because of that,
then Putty's beard got stuck in the pencil sharpener.
Oh no!
But going full circle,
Simpsons reference for anybody who doesn't get it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Now I remember.
You sunk my battleship.
But it goes full circle to think that that's probably another reason why the saturations happen is because it's just easier to churn out all this. And we're going to keep getting it as long as AI has any control of it. They're going to keep churning out stuff as long as people eat it up.
That was can I just say something? That was a really good complete 360, bringing it back to where we started. AI. Good job, Putty.
No, but it's in a way, like I have to agree with it. Like if I go out and I'm going to a restaurant, families with their kids, the only way to shut these kids up is put a cell phone in their hands and shut them up.
But you're already watching something. You want me to do my boss was telling me, okay, one of them, that they went to the movies, and in order to watch the movie, they had to let their kid watch the show that they like on Netflix. So they put headphones on the kid and put the show on. And then they told me they went to like a Blue Jay game and the same thing happened. It's like, why are you even going out?
Why even bringing them?
Yeah, just that's what you have grandparents for.
Yeah, exactly. Babysitters.
I mean, not your own parents. Do you know what the trick is? I learned this when I was a kid. You have kids, you don't have to like them. You just send them over to your parents' house and leave them there all day forever, and they'll never see their parents. And they'll grow up fine.
You'll be normal.
We'd be out to like 10 or 11 o'clock riding bikes and then come home and everything, and the door would be unlocked for us to come in. Now, say that nowadays. That ain't happening.
No, I tell her to lock my front door. Alexa, is my front door locked?
Well, you can't say that out loud.
Your front door is locked.
Did she say that?
Yeah.
That's another thing. And it's funny. Another thing we talk about how things are changed. With my job, one of my coworkers, she tested me because I've been in an orthopedic office for a year now, and she goes, "So you know your bones?" I'm like, "No." And she goes, "How do you been in an orthopedic office? You don't know your bones?" I go, "Google." And she's like, "That's crazy. You work in an office, an orthopedic office." And so she goes, "Okay, so what's this?" And I was like, "Femur." And she goes, "No, it's not the femur." Like she was making fun of me. So I told her, I said, "Listen, I could probably learn this." And she goes, "Whatever." And she brought me a picture of just one of the bones and pointed to it and said she was going to test me. I was already examining the picture of the bones. And that day I wowed her because she goes, "Okay, instead of asking where the femur was, she asked where the humerus was." And I pointed to it and then pointed to the femur and kept on going. The way I did it was I found a way for me as far as studying to use, like, for the metacarpal and the metatarsal T toes, your foot, you know what I mean? And so I used the word association with it. My thing is that was another thing I realized too, because I've become so used to Google that I depend on it now. And if I depend on it, when I can go and study and learn it in one day, what are these kids at? Because the things I learned from one of my coworkers that they actually will force them to not when they look at the internet stuff, they will force to do certain things that they have to actually look up that like they'll ask them a question and says, where does it say it on this page of this book? Because they want them to actually read the books. So they have to tell them to read this chapter and then tell us, then they'll quiz them on a page. Just because they know they're not reading the books, they're just Googling things. And I can't imagine how that is in just any form or general when you can find any media you want, when you can find any answer you want. And then people tell you that, like, how are you going to become a doctor that way? How are you going to be inspired to do something like that and learn something if it's just based on,
I have an answer for you.
Magic.
Because I fully am invested in the internet. I put all my money into internet 1.0. And this is kind of like in school, okay? And this is like a double thing. When you learned algebra, at what point in your entire life, even if you're the smartest doctor in the world, did you ever have to use algebra that they forced you to learn, right? And they always used to tell me in school, because we were from the analog days, you'll never be able to use a calculator. Never. You have to do all the math in your head. Calculators are wrong. Well, now we live in a place where there's a calculator on every single device in your workplace. Why the hell do I even need to know math?
And you know what? When I do my math in the morning, I use my head instead of a calculator.
I mean, I'm actually really good at math, but the point is that you will have access to all of these things. Yeah. So pretending like not you.
I think that was just more to instill fear.
I think so.
So you'd study.
And I understand what you're saying, Putty, but someone telling you that, oh, you're not gonna, I Google's on every device in my workplace if I need it.
But that's
and
my
you're
point.
You're not doing things that are like I don't know the word. It's not like at my work, everything has names based on things that only people at my work call those things. Like no one else in the world calls those things that. So it's like a language that only exists in there. Where at least
internal
you
language,
and that you do too, right? But you're talking about like general things like body parts, and the internet knows all about that because they'll just tell you have cancer. My toe hurts. But yeah,
thank you,
I get it, but I also think I buy into the Google shit.
But see, you guys just...
But then again, it can tell you where all the body parts are. But can it actually teach you how to do actual surgery? Or
well, Putty's not doing surgery.
I'm just saying,
I hope not. Let's all pray that Putty never has to do that.
But that's a prime example. When you guys are talking about, I hear this a lot. Oh, I saw on blah 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 med, and I'm like, okay, you have to understand one thing. When you look up something like that, those things are based on other people's bodies. Every body is different. That's why you have to have the examination. That's why you have to have this stuff.
My body, my choice.
Well, but exactly. But people always tend to say, "Oh, I saw it in WebMD," and I'm like, "Oh, I don't do this," because the thing is, then I find out no, but WebMD wasn't right about it because they're not reading their own symptoms properly either. One thing we always tell people, and we still have to change it a lot now. We used to tell people, "What's your pain 1 out of 10?" Oh, it's 12. I'm like, so you're dead? Like I didn't say that to them, but that pretty much is in our eyes dead. Because understand, now we had to say 1 being you're having the best day of your life, 10 being you would actually do the surgery on yourself. And that makes people go, oh, well, maybe it's at 8. Because the thing is, they overshoot.
You know what? You should add 1. If you pass 10, that would mean you're dead. Now tell me.
Well, that actually can turn out bad when it comes to my field. But anyway, if you tell somebody that they're possibly dead, because then you're insulting them, kind of situation. You know what I mean?
It's not, because we're trying to assess your situation to make a medical decision. And if you're trying to tell us that you're dead, then I'm sorry, I can't help you.
No, I know, but even when they exaggerate, we kind of have to be professional about it, and I get it. It's part of my job, you know what I mean?
You're in the States. You guys don't have rules. You don't even have free healthcare.
but
you're paying for this phone call. You better be serious,
right? But the point of the whole situation is that we hear this a lot and everything, but it's also like because there's so much access to things that people also get paranoid. When we were younger, we didn't know about certain things unless a celebrity got it. Like if it was a big like you gotta remember when we first really heard about AIDS, it was either through Eazy-E or what's his name from Queen. You know what I mean? Like,
hold on, you knew who Eazy-E was, but you didn't get Freddie Mercury.
I forgot Freddie Mercury's name.
One of them is like a million times bigger than the other one.
But you know, it's pretty funny. Anyway,
but only one guy cruised down the street and is 6'4".
That is true.
But yeah, that's a prime example of where it's like, oh, he died, cool, and we move on in life. Cool. Those moments. Well, no, I mean, I know that sounds horrible saying it that way, but that's pretty much how it feels. Because
he died, cool.
When a celebrity dies, we make a big deal of it that day, then we move on, and then it's like another celebrity dies, and we make a big deal of it, and then we move on. When someone died when we were younger, it was a huge thing. People were talking about it. It was something that you would communicate. Like, I can't believe he died.
But you know what? We
feel
actually
that way.
talked about this. We have talked about this before, and I agree with that, and I would like to point one out, and it's not to be disrespectful, but it's specifically Chadwick Boseman. People were acting like the greatest actor of all time, who's a legend, who's been around for years, and everyone loves him, died. This guy made like 7 movies, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. It's just like, why? I don't understand. I couldn't understand. To me, everyone will only watch Black Panther, but
I
for
think
some reason,
because of the fact that he was also very young and he kept his illness a secret, has a lot to do with it.
He actually was a lot older than people thought.
Right.
But
okay,
I
but
agree.
look,
No, but I agree with you. I'm not.
Yeah.
I actually was sad when Chadwick Boseman died.
Let's put it in our world too. Terry Funk dies and Bray Wyatt dies. There was a bigger thing about Bray Wyatt dying over Terry Funk.
Well, that was because of age, right? We know that.
Yeah.
Which I agree with your point, but it's like, and it's just the nowadays, right? It's the way things are. We're
in the information age, yeah.
Most of the people watching wrestling now, which is so sad to say, because someone on the internet's going to be like, wow, yeah, everyone knows who Terry Funk is. No, man. You know how many people don't know who Terry Funk is? More people that don't know than they do know. Isn't that ridiculous?
And it's funny too, because Bray Wyatt, I know he did some of the characters and everything, and I you know, and they talked about like the show he did on WWE. You know, what was the name of it? I can't think of it now.
The Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah, thank you. They talked about that, but then people don't realize Terry Funk led into so many great things with ECW and everything else that
Terry Funk is the creator of the modern era of wrestling, basically.
And
there wouldn't be an ECW without Terry Funk being at those first few shows.
And that's the whole point, is
forever.
Bray Wyatt, even though I really do like him as a character and as a wrestler, comparing the two, Terry Funk deserves way more praise, but it's not going to happen because there's no cinematic to him. There's only basic real raw information. It's more chaotic, and
it's also the fact that Terry Funk's story has been told. It's ended. There's an end chapter. Bray Wyatt will never get that end chapter because there was always so much more that he could do. Who knows what direction it could have gone in? Right.
His end chapter would have been him once again ending someone else's career. Listen, let's be honest. And once again, we're not doing disrespectful. We're just being honest.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a big opinion on it, as I'm not a huge WWE fan to begin with, and I never really liked Bray Wyatt. Obviously it's sad that he passed away. Like we're not getting into that. But everyone that I asked that was a really big wrestling fan, or we talked about it, I was very surprised to find out that none of them cared. They were all like, I don't like Bray Wyatt. He's a terrible wrestler. And I was like, he just died. You guys are like, can we calm down? I'm not joking though. Like, it was super abrasive and to the point. I don't care. I don't like him. He's not a good wrestler.
See, as far as like, giving storyline, because you guys know always for me, WWE's I love, or wrestling. I love storylines, and I remember the Undertaker gave him praise for continuing his thing in that situation. And
I'm starting to think that the Undertaker was like, you better fuck off, kid.
But I mean, there were some enjoyable things, but it wasn't enough to keep me. Like, I just go back and watch those as a whole, like all the Firefly episodes. I just watched it as a whole on YouTube, so I got the enjoyment out of what was great about it. But it's like,
that's so up your alley. That's exactly the kind of shit you like.
Exactly, but that's my point. I enjoyed the heck out of it, but then I didn't have any interest in his wrestling, because the thing is, that's another thing that's lost a little bit. They're doing the very, the electrifying things and making them fun, but then the in-ring stuff isn't fun, entertaining like it is on the camera.
Yeah, that match in the Hell in a Cell against Seth Rollins was horrible.
Yeah, well, that's my point. Like, for example, think about all those times Undertaker had wrestling matches with Kane.
Yes, the Mountain Dew match was okay.
Oh, and by the way, have we noticed too, Rey Mysterio? They must really, really, really like to promote what was it? Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Yes, I know, because I went out and I bought a box of the cereal last week.
Well, I already eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You don't have to convince me.
But yeah,
I rarely eat cereal, but
last week was the first week I've tried Cinnamon Toast Crunch,
and it was amazing, right?
It was okay.
Yes. But
I'm more of a honeycomb guy.
I mean, honeycombs are good too.
But yeah, 2 pay-per-views they've had that as the promotion during his events, and I'm like, what are they trying to say here? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where they're going.
Eat more Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
the world is just at a weird point now where like I'm so happy we have all this stuff to enjoy, like the geek stuff, like but we only get gems like Twisted Metal, you know what I mean? And then we have just uploads of shit. So it's like I'm now at the point where I'm like I'm just waiting. Like for example, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I've only watched the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka. I have not watched any more, only because I'm just going to wait to see if it's actually good. If not, then I'm just gonna binge it. And I've been just like I'm now consuming it so
Hold
differently.
on. So you're okay. So clearly, thank you, Putty, for admitting that he waits for our reviews before he watches something.
Yes.
Make sure you check out our Ahsoka review.
Coming soon.
Oh, so wait, hold on. So the all the episodes are out?
No.
Oh, okay.
There's 3 left, I think.
From this point, yes. I'm caught up, and
I watched none of it because I don't care, but I'll watch it to review it.
Well, see, I was going to wait till they all came out and now because I did the same thing with Andor. Because remember, look how much I judged Andor. I gave the first 2 episodes the worst thing and I stopped watching it.
Okay, you know what? Let's pause this conversation here and stay on this topic because I want to talk about something. Everyone's like, oh, you got to watch Ahsoka. It helps you tell the story for Clone Wars. I've watched Clone Wars until almost the end of season 5. It's fucking terrible. I've also watched Rebels, I think season 1, all of it. They're so, and then I watched Bad Batch season 1.
Bad Batch was horrible.
The animated Marvel show, I mean, Star Wars shows are not good. I don't know why people like them. I guess if you're really a huge fan of Star Wars and you're so knee deep in the lore, it's just a thing. But the thing I keep getting from people with Clone Wars is you got to watch the last 3 seasons. That's when it's good. It's like One Piece. You got to get past the first 120 episodes. Or what do you mean I got to get past the first 120 episodes? I watched 5 seasons and it wasn't good. It's boring as hell.
It's like Dragon Ball. Wait till you get after the Frieza saga.
Dragon Ball's the opposite because it's like watch the original Dragon Ball. It's super fun, but then when you get to Dragon Ball Z, it's just the same thing for fucking the whole thing.
Oh, okay. So
let me 6 episodes for Spirit Bomb. Damn, I missed.
So for the people in the community, G-Rod, Neopan, these all guys, they all praise Dragon Ball Z. And don't get me wrong, I do like Dragon Ball Z, okay? But I grew up with Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball was the original. That's where I come up. And I keep telling
that's where little Goku was a pervert and looked up Bulma's skirt.
Exactly.
Yes, and Putty is also a pervert, so it lines up perfectly.
Anyway, but Dragon Ball, I loved Dragon Ball as a kid. And the thing is I told them, if you're a real big Dragon Ball fan, why aren't you watching that original series? I'm just not interested. Then you're not a fan. I mean, here's my thing. You can be a fan of stuff, but if you're going to call yourself a hardcore fan for something, then you clearly are wanting to consume all the media. Listen, you know what I mean?
The thing about Dragon Ball Z, and I can touch on this because I am a Dragon Ball fan. It's a vibe that the show is. It's cool. Well, Dragon Ball is like the kind of anime, and especially North American for the American people, that it's cool. So everyone that's the first anime they watch, and because of that, they get emotionally attached to it. It's like how I loved the first 2 seasons of Sailor Moon. It's like why I loved the original Dragon Ball, because that's what I started watching. Yeah. Like I like Pokemon. Okay, I really liked Pokemon. I watched the whole thing as a kid. I bought it now to own the first series because it's the only one I have an emotional attachment to, and it fucking sucks. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't, but I just have an attachment to it.
The nostalgia.
The problem is Dragon Ball people like to walk around and talk about it like it's actually good. It's not good.
Well, here's the funny part too.
Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah,
Super is good, and the first Dragon Ball is good.
Well, here's the thing with the whole Dragon Ball Z thing. Yeah. As I noticed when I was watching anime, I was doing like MD Geist, Heroes of Spirit Lane, Vampire Hunter D, Ninja Scroll. These were great movies or series.
Really
yes. But if you look at the animation back then it wasn't this big-eyed, use these like piercing animations. But then as soon as Dragon Ball came out and started doing it, everything else was doing it. Think about it. Naruto. Well,
I can't let you come on here and pretend like
no, but I mean, okay, but let's take it one step further. I think when Akira Toriyama's style, that people started trying to imitate the Toriyama style.
I don't know, because Sailor Moon was doing that chibi style before Dragon Ball was.
But I'm not talking about the chibi. I'm talking about like that style in terms of the Toriyama art style, because One Piece is definitely guilty of
very pointy hair, sharp, very muscular, sketched out type look. Yes, but the big eye, goofy stuff is not Dragon Ball.
No,
but see, I'm just saying in general, because you got to think. Look at the old stuff that we watched. It had more piercing lines. It was more based in trying to give you a little more realism.
Because the stuff you're talking about is like is a groundbreaking anime that changed there was other stuff, right? Like Lupin had a lot of that big eye, goofy, like mouth drop to the floor type
True,
thing.
true. But Lupin also had that very like what made Lupin very special was very that the whole skinny body situation. It was going what eventually became stuff like what's the name of it that MTV show where they used the over
Aeon
exaggerated
Flux.
skinniness. Yes, where they use the over exaggerated skinniness to people. That Lupin brought that in. The problem is again, and I'm this is what I'm reiterating. And again, I know Dragon Ball didn't first make it. There's the whole thing with both Sailor Moon and the other series. But the reason I bring it up is because once it became big in the States and like, oh my God, we love this. Every animation style focused it on that whole big-eyed, little things popping over their head, the spiky hair. Everything
I
started
mean,
pointing to
everything
those
goes
things
in
like,
phases because you had Fist of the North Star but you also, if you go before that, you had Fist of the North Star, you had Robotech, you had Macross. They all had that same animation type style as well, right?
yeah, but I feel like it was way
Battle of
more
the
solid back then.
Planets.
And that was their start. See, now it's shifted into this new thing, and people don't realize that existed because you literally just name drop one of them, Fist and North Star. I became so addicted to that I literally had to get the NES video game, and I'm sure you remember that one too.
Yeah, yeah.
But my point to the whole thing is that had an impact back then that was, in my eyes, quite different than it is now. And I get why the other stuff is bigger because it's more globally known, but like it's such a weird thing. Again, times I don't want to be that person because I do enjoy new things that come out, and I'm always going to be one of those people that said I wish I was born in the future because I'd rather see future technology than be born in the '70s. But it is true when you look at it because we have a saturation. Everything is at this point where it's like if it's popular, we got to stick with that thing. And it's like there's nothing trying to break new ground in anything because it's just easier to be safe when it comes to entertainment.
See,
And that's in every media.
and I'm not gonna pretend like I'm disagreeing with you, but you need to, not you. People need to move out of a box. You're seeing the same things because you're looking for the same things. There's new, fresh stuff out there. You just have to be willing to watch it and look for it. But where people are so caught up with like ratings and stuff like that you're not going to give something a chance. There's so many new shows that I watch that are better than they're rated because people just don't care. They come into the show, they don't care about watching it. Like, yeah, it sucks. 1 out of 10. I like, no, this show's actually really good.
Let's take a game that just came out. It's being review bombed on Metacritic, and the reason why it's being given 1s and 2s is because it's not on PlayStation.
Yeah,
does that make it a bad
apparently
game?
by critics one of the best games ever made. So
it's not a 10 out of 10. It's a Bethesda game. If you like Bethesda games, you'll like this game. I'm not saying it's game of the year. I'm enjoying it. We're talking about Starfield.
I didn't even know it was out.
I'm playing it. I have Game Pass, so I'm playing it, and I'm enjoying it. It's a Bethesda game in space. It's Skyrim meets Fallout meets
and they made such a good point of it when they were talking about. They're like, if Nintendo let everyone make Super Mario games, they wouldn't be special anymore. And then there's also no reason for anyone to want to buy a Nintendo product. Like Xbox has to keep some games for themselves.
Yeah. And this is like, and I'm looking on the Metacritic score on any other site that's not fan reviewed, it's getting 8.5, 9. But on Metacritic, it's dropped below 80% because I see 0 out of 10 not on PS5, 1 out of 10 not on PS5. But if that's what you're basing your review off of,
and then Halo should be getting bad reviews. Like, I mean, I'm talking about like original Halo because that you're saying exactly what I was just thinking. It's like, why are you judging it because they own Bethesda now when it wasn't a game that even initially was existing? You know what I mean? Like, I understand if it was a franchise and you're continuing, but when you take something that's brand new, it was never advertised to be on PlayStation.
But that's the thing too. Like, they're also saying now that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be an Xbox exclusive as well.
Now, see that I might.
But yeah, see that. Guess what? You can play on your PC because all you need is Game Pass.
Yeah.
But then, okay, I can a little bit see in that only because the other games are on there. I mean, I can't do nothing about it. I'm not going to sit there and give it a bad score just because I don't get to play my PlayStation.
But people are doing that. That would be like, and obviously it's no. I'm an Xbox guy. I've always been an Xbox guy, and I'll fully admit to it. I mean, I enjoy the PlayStation products. I'm not going to give God of War a 1 out of 10 because it's not on Xbox.
Plus, you played it on PC, so you don't even care.
But see,
okay. But how about then let's go with a game that's not on PC with Horizon Forbidden West.
You played it on your PlayStation.
Exactly. I went and I got a PlayStation to
But see,
play it.
I'm going to use
Same
those,
thing with Ghost of Tsushima.
but I'm going to use
Excellent
those
game.
examples. Those are games that only existed on those consoles. I will agree with them a little bit when it's like, for example, the Call of
Yeah,
Duty
I get it.
games.
It's an ongoing series, and I played every
Okay,
game in the series, and now
Destiny
I
3
get
is
it.
going to be a PS5 exclusive.
Is it really? I did not know that.
Yeah, they own Bungie.
I know they do, but I didn't know they were making
Yep.
exclusive. Oh, see, this is where you're going to cause problems because now you can't be inventive on your own, so you have to use other people's properties that you bought. And see, that's where it becomes a problem because you got to remember we've always dealt with exclusivities. We just had to deal
Yeah.
with it. You know what I mean? Like remember, if we wanted to play with Zelda on Soul Calibur, you had to have a GameCube. You know what I mean? There was no ifs ands or about it. You had to have that console, and so we've always had that. But in our own sense, because I remember when what was it? Resident Evil was it 4? Resident Evil 4 was the one that was
Was on
exclusive to
GameCube.
GameCube. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't get that on PlayStation. It came later, but you couldn't get that. And I mean, you never know. Microsoft can be like, okay, we're gonna be generous now and let Starfield be on PlayStation, but you have to wait a little bit. It was like the whole Lara Croft, you know, what I mean, releasing
Yeah.
later kind of situation. But the problem is it's now again basing yourself on critics is just a bad thing in the first place because we do it as well.
To bring it back around, yeah.
Yeah, it's like basing it on critics or just people in general. It's just a stupid idea because now we're so saturated with critical acclaim that you can too many people can just bombard and just say bad reviews, and then people are going to believe it.
And that's something that I personally live by, and I don't care. I argue with people online about it all the time, in my own friends, in my own community. But it's like I'm not rating this movie because I feel like I like it. I'm not rating something because I like the property. I don't tell you how I feel. If I do, that's not counted in my rating. There's a very technical aspect of filmmaking that or TV show making or video game making. There's a process.
Yeah.
That's what you should rate something on, not like, oh, I don't like these colors. So this movie had a gay guy in it. 1 out of 10. Like, whoa, thanks, man. Great review. But you know what I mean? Like there's acting, there's writing, there's the way it's filmed, there's directing, there's like so many layers to making something, especially a video game, because not only do you have all that, but then you have to put the process into the gameplay and the animations. And it's like, oh, it's not on PlayStation. 1 out of 10. Thanks for your review, guy.
Yeah, or take a game like Baldur's Gate, even for example. Other companies are bashing it because it's a single player adventure where the entire game is there for you to play. You don't have to buy DLC, you don't have to buy extra content. The whole content is there. You pay your $80 and here's the game. There's no monetization to it. It's just a game. And other companies are getting upset at that too. Like someone like EA, how are we going to monetize this? Like the meme I sent you with the Beatles.
EA is just a joke.
Yeah.
Well, it's because, again, another saturation. The whole buying stuff in stores, like a Fortnite item shop, they see the success of that. But then, like, for example, I'm going to use a Call of Duty. Call of Duty, they do the same thing. You have to buy all the battle pass. You have to buy the skins. But then you also have to buy the game. And I'm like, well, understand the reason why you may be losing people is because you're not making it the whole thing free, like at least Fortnite is. I'm not trying to just give total.
Well, now you
Fortnite,
can play some with. I think Warzone is free though, isn't it?
Well, no, Wars, but that's what I'm saying though. But you still have to pay to play multiplayer. So if you want to upgrade your weapons faster, then you have to.
It's more of a pay to win.
If you want to upgrade your weapons faster, you buy the game battle pass in Fortnite. Fortnite is freemium. Fortnite is the definition of freemium. They
but then again, those cosmetics are just cosmetics. They don't improve.
Yeah, they're not exactly.
Yeah, and
whereas in Call of Duty,
all the stuff is cosmetic as well, isn't it?
No, some of it is not. Some of it is pay to win.
Some of the guns you have to get to the battle pass and everything, so you have to like go through it. And then if you want to get the good parts, you have to go and level it up. And it's a lot easier to level up in multiplayer than it is to go through World of War. So there's always people don't realize that because I go and level up my guns all in the same map, the same 24-hour map they do, and I just do it there. And it's because it's easier. But the problem is I didn't get the battle pass this season because I'm like, this is boring. And the thing is, I'm already paying for the game. Why do I have to pay for the battle pass? You're making me pay each season for a game that I've already paid money for. And then if I want to get skins or anything like that, I have to pay for it. And then if I want to go ahead and get the things from the battle pass before, and then now they have a bonus where you have to buy a bundle to get other pieces of the battle pass. I'm like, you guys are nuts when it comes to the money. And it's because now Activision, this whole situation, like, oh, we're going to try to make money over here in Sony as well and everything. It's like, everything's about money. There's no more, because the thing is, you got to think they got to make their money back with the collaboration and things of that nature, which is really cool to see some of my favorite characters from other games in these games. Like Lara Croft is now in Call of Duty, which is kind of cool to see her dual wielding the guns. You know what I mean? Like, it looks really cool. But then at the same time, like, but that's it. That's all I'm getting out of it. I mean, at least DLC in the back in the day would add something new, like a new story part or add a dimension. We're not getting that anymore. And
like,
so,
for example, where The Witcher is a perfect example. Say what you will about the game, but the expansion was $20, but it was almost a completely new game of Blood and Wine.
Yeah, but then they tried to charge you like $80 to play Gwent.
That's true too.
But see, exactly, and that's my point. There's no more. There's too much of the money situation, and again, you have, and again, at the same time, you're also complaining about, now I have too many options when it comes to games. If I want to go watch TV or movies, I got to decide that I got to pick the right thing for that. Like, we've been doing these reviews, but think about how much time we have to consume to watch all these shows, these wrestling. You guys, with your wrestling, you guys consume so much of that. Think about the time you put
It's
into that.
taken over my life, basically.
Yeah, and you have to think about it. Now you're having to set up the review. You're writing the notes like in the book you got there. People don't realize, because we have all this content, it's now oversaturated. And it's because we want to also provide content to entertain people. It's an endless cycle of just repeat. And it's like, people always said, what happens if we went back to the old days? Or let's just say, what if like our world suddenly crashed in electronics and went back to the 80s?
I don't want to talk to people.
But the point is,
We're doing it right now.
We would be okay, but
I would be okay in a couple of days.
We'd survive.
First couple of days, I'd want to kill everything.
I think the three of us would survive.
But eventually. The thing is, these kids in their 20s or younger, they're going to struggle because they were born into the internet age. They had that convenience there, even if it was back before when a web crawler was your search app. You know what I mean? And
Ask Jeeves.
But yeah, and I mean, come on, MySpace.
But shout out to Clippy. What was the guy's name?
I'm the only Gen Xer here. I'd fuck everybody up.
What was the purple guy's name? That used to be like the web browser.
Oh, the monkey that would be in the corner. Yeah.
Bonzo buddy or something.
Bonzi buddy.
Bonzi buddy.
Oh my god, he was the worst.
Would you like me? Yeah. Hi, would you like me to help you find this?
Oh my god, and that was such a bad thing because it was like a backdoor Trojan. It would just like destroy everything on your PC.
I was so bad about it. They even made a female version of that too, where you can put it in the corner. So of course I'm like, I want to check this out, and then she's in the corner, and suddenly I'm like, why do I have viruses? Why do it's like because of those stupid things? But I mean, again,
that's also because you go on websites you shouldn't be going on.
It's also because you made a female Bonzi buddy because of some other purpose. It's a freaking gorilla.
But I just find it funny that that's the reason why I bring this up is because it's
ICQ.
Oh my god, ICQ. AIM and ICQ were the big ones back then.
I had ICQ, I had AIM, I had MSN, I had Yahoo Chat, I had the Uns Gino chat. I had like 7 chat things, and I would have them all open at once and just be getting messages. Like that's how you talk to girls in the late 90s, early 2000s.
I still have websites, one on GeoCities and one on Angel Fire. I still have both of those websites still up, by the way. It's so great. My Angel Fire website is still up, and I'm like, no way.
That's amazing. Here's my pager number.
Oh my god. My buddy had a pager, like a few of them did. Okay, anyways, we're ending this video. We're not talking about pagers. Okay, thank you for watching, and we'll bring you some more content next week.